Today is June 7th, 2023, and this is the 9 a.m. work session for the Fiscal Court. I'd like to invite everybody to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hope everybody's doing well today. And I would like to invite, if there's any public comments, please come forward. Seeing no public comments, we're going to move on. We had the health department, but that had to be rescheduled, so we're going to pull that from this agenda to the next meeting. So we can take it off the work session. We'll go to judge's report next. I just want to say thank you to the Solarize Frankfurt campaign. We now have our first installation in Frankfurt in Indian Hills. They'll be saving the homeowners approximately $63 per month, supplying 95% of the homeowners' annual electric needs. I'd like to thank Amy McDonald and Kentucky Solar Energy Society for their work. Press conference was held on May 30th. Deputy Jack Kennedy went to represent us, and I believe there's a photo up there now at the residence. So,
I'm standing in a hole.
Is that right? And then we actually held our first coffee with contractors and business leaders within the community. It was a robust discussion about kind of where we are with Frankfurt and looking forward to monitorizing how folks can expect to do business in Frankfurt and Franklin County. Special thanks to our new coffee shop down the road, Engine House Coffee. They supplied the coffee for us. It was a great event, a lot of good information, and we shared with them kind of what we're doing to try to hopefully modernize everything with our P&Z and the website and everything. On June 1st, we swore in the 3 appointees for the reapportionment committee that we all voted on the last court meeting. There, Andrew has a picture. Andrew's on it this morning. So we definitely want to thank Mr. Frank Owens, Paola Rowe, and Dr. Tope for their service for our community. I'm sorry?
Frank.
What did I say?
Frank.
Oh, I said Frank. I thought that was Fred.
We thank Frank too.
Yeah. We could.
I'll thank you.
Fred,
I'll
I don't know
thank
where that
Frankie,
came from.
thank you.
It has down here as Fred. I don't know how I got Frank out of that. So, but they'll be working with our county clerk and our P&Z Robert Hewitt to kind of go over that in the next 60 days. The mayor and I attended on June 1st the Wear Orange event, honoring, talking about gun violence and how to control gun violence in our community and things like that. So it's an interesting organization. When I first got involved with them, I thought it was anti-guns, but it's not really. It's more about gun safety and keeping guns away from kids. And the statistics are crazy as far as how many accidents happen on a daily basis. So they're doing good work for our community. The mayor and I did a joint proclamation. We didn't read it. The high school girl read it for us, and then we did the proclamation. So it was really nice. We also want to congratulate all the graduates in Frankfurt and Franklin County, as well as Frankfurt High. Some graduated last week, and I know this week, Friday, Frankfurt High graduates. My son graduates, actually, so it's a great time in our community. So we want to wish them the best for their future endeavors, and I know they'll go make Frankfurt and Franklin County proud. And then last but not least, last night, we had our first joint city-county meeting. We had at the Frankfurt Planning Board. We appreciate them letting us host there. Things went well. We talked about E911 and kind of where we're headed as a community to help fund that service since landlines have kind of gone away. So that's something that we'll take to committee individually as city and county and see if we can kind of come up with some solutions. So that is my judge's report for the day. I'd like to invite Mr. John Mitchell, our road supervisor, up to give us some updates. Morning, John.
Morning.
Doing okay today?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Let's see. Not a whole lot going on, just the regular mowing. We did get Duckers
It's done, we got it mowed.
And the park, we swung by there and knocked it down while we were out. So but there was about took 7, 8 days to mow all of it.
Okay, thank you.
But it's okay right now, in good shape. Some odd jobs, still patching. You know, couple guardrail repairs. And low tree limbs, seems like the trees are starting to lean in a little. And we've been working on our mow trim, trying to get it thing going, but we've got one in the budget. That thing's been a lot. We need to get it going as soon as we can, but that's not being there. Yard waste today, it's 15 better than I had. Last week was same thing, 54 in the city, 19 county. It's averaging that about every week. Man. That's about it.
For Tracy and then for Sebastian.
John, thanks for being with us. Quick question. In regards to the equipment that's been approved in the budget, we all know there's a lag in time as far as delivery and so forth. When will you place that order, or have you already placed that order? Okay. When will you?
We can start the process as soon as everything's done July 1. We can start the process then.
Okay. I know the sheriff in past years has ordered or put in an order before.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to probably go through the bid process
Okay.
and all that, so.
Okay. So not on state contract, the vehicles?
Yeah, it's kinda hard to get anything.
Okay.
I'd say what we'll wind up with is probably used piece of equipment. It's new ones, you're out, we don't have to wait.
Right. Okay.
And I tracked down a few things again.
Okay.
Got them in the sites. Just waiting on the time frame.
Okay. Thank you.
I could ask, Mr. County Attorney, is it legal that he go ahead and start RFPing, even though the budget hasn't started, if we haven't purchased anything? Is there any problem with that?
I can look into that to see if that's gonna be an issue.
Just because we're not purchasing anything, we're just advertising for bids, but it's 30, it'd be 30 days, hop on it, so, okay, if you could check on that, that'd be good. Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. Just thank you for being here with us, Mr. Road Supervisor. I want to thank you for the mowing out there in the First District. Appreciate that. Heard a lot of good comments from the neighbors out there. With the mow trim, is it kind of up and down? That you've had it, have you had it out at all? Because I'm getting that.
Yeah, yesterday.
And
tried it.
you know what happens as soon as you all mow on the ground, as soon as you get out there and bush hog.
Yeah.
Next call to me 10 minutes later is, did y'all see all those limbs at the end of a road, or did you see them on Mulholland? I can't drive. Can't. So I know you've heard the same thing. So I just didn't know if we would get it back in service and then you use it for a day and then it's back out of service, or if it's kind of up and down like that.
It lasted about 2 hours yesterday and then went down again, so it's back in the shop. Really, when maybe try to get it in today.
Is it something different on the repair every time, or is it the
Seems
same?
like, yeah, it's just.
Well, with an old piece of equipment, that's the
yeah.
thing, you throw a new piece on and something else. I get it. I just thought I would ask about that. In regard to the yard waste, I'm gonna be consistent. I've asked this now for over a month. Have we heard anything from the city? Okay, thank you. I just didn't know if they had reached out to us, since they have been the one to suspend for whatever reason. Judge, I'm gonna ask you as well.
I talked to the mayor, he didn't know a whole lot about it, so I need to give Byron a call, I guess, but, I don't know what we'll do at this point. The conversation still needs to be had, but,
Okay.
I've heard nothing. Actually, I was at an event last night, and somebody was down there just super complimentary of your guys and how it went, efficient.
They pulled up, I got unloaded. They were very thankful. So yeah, I want to, thank you all.
And I would echo that, because the people who have reached out to me about mowing and other things, some have utilized the Yard Waste Wednesday, and they have been extremely complimentary of the county road department staff about helpfulness, about being considerate and just genuine public servants, and I
Yeah.
can't say enough about our staff. I'll
Yeah,
say that
I would
at
agree.
any point.
They're good.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions for John? I will say while we're on the topic, I think Squire Wisman asked me about some updates from the, state projects, and basically all I got back was by the end of the year. That was pretty much November 31 of 2023 was the answer for the three, I think, projects going on with the state. And I do want to thank the state. They finally fixed the curb down there from all that rebar on the Forks of Elkhorn Bridge. So that was a good thing. And I believe Squire Tracy that Knight's Bridge is done. Correct. So, yeah.
They do do action now in my district. We came out and actually gave road
Oh, well, good.
in.
Yeah.
Still working every day, probably got a permanent list.
Yeah.
Milled and paved properly, but that was a big Band-Aid,
Well, good.
huge Band-Aid yesterday, so can't thank them enough.
Yeah.
I think I seen something on the lettings that's coming up pretty soon, but it'll probably be, next year before it gets done, but I think it's in the queue.
They keep telling me, you know how that is until I see that final piece of paper.
I did see
I can't
that.
ever tell anybody that it's the real deal.
Can't remember the letting date on that project, but I'm thinking maybe next week or week after next.
Okay, appreciate that, John, because I'll
I try to keep
continue
up
to stay
with
on that.
what's going on.
John, I think Home Street was on there too, wasn't
Home
it?
Street was on there too.
Yeah, but I know they're not wanting to do a whole lot just because of future development, but I remember seeing something about there's a base problem or something is what they're saying is what happened to Home Street. So I do know Big Eddie and Home Street are right up on the list there as far as with the state.
I am talking to every person
Yeah.
I've ever crossed paths with in the state government on
Yeah.
that, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Carl
And they
Blackburn.
put the end dates, I think, on the day that the asphalt plant closes.
Pretty much,
So-
yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah.
It'll be done when the asphalt plant closes.
Exactly.
Well, with Home Street, they'll resurface it and then turn around and dig it back up.
You mean like Second Street?
Yeah, comment.
They're doing
Driving
driving.
about that, so-
They changed the driving test down there as well. So it's the new drivers.
Squire Wisman. I've already mentioned it. Please pass.
My thanks to the state for St. John's paving too. I'm getting just accolades everywhere. People are so extremely happy to have that road paved.
So pass that along for me. Thanks.
Yeah, they're coming along. They've done good. They got to rest of Camp Pleasant doing this week too. It's one.
Yeah. Long overdue.
Oh, They're doing good.
Any other questions for John? John, thank you very much.
All right.
Alrighty, so we're gonna move on down. Anybody have anything from our minutes from our May 25th meeting or the May 31 meeting? Oh, yeah, sorry. Where's he at? Oh, yes, I apologize. We do, I mistakenly, we have Codell Construction here to talk about the road department update. There you go. Caught me off guard. I was lumped those both in with John, forgetting that Wes was here. Hey, Wes, how you doing, buddy?
I'm in the lobby. How are you all?
Yeah, it's all right. Sorry, I kind of skipped over you, so don't take it personally.
I'm going to give each of you a sample copy of the contract for the bid package that we discussed last time.
Thank you.
Now, this is a sample, so I want to explain a little bit. We have our ladies in the office working on putting the final touches on the contract with SLA. But the issue we have, the owner for this company is out of town, he's out of state, so we're kind of having to back in and do this a different way. But the only difference from the sample that you'll see are the dates entered, the contractor's name, the amount of calendar days that the schedule is. So it's basically just inputting his information in there. The one caveat to that is we're putting an addendum or an amendment, if you will, to the back of this for the pre-engineered metal building that'll state $40,000 down payment, which is 10% of the overall cost. And then upon delivery, it's $360,000. So it's the only change from this contract that you'll see. And I should have it momentarily. We've been, waiting this morning to get it wrapped up, but I'll be happy to walk through any items you have on the contract if you want to.
When you say delivery, are you saying after it's erected?
No, after it's delivered to the site. That's how the pre-engineered
So that,
vendors work.
so that 400,000 included erecting of that building as
No,
well? It
that's just the
didn't?
material.
It's just the material.
Yeah.
There's photos of it already there.
Yes.
So, Square, the
So, Mr. Davis, thank you
Uh-huh.
again for being with us. My question is in looking at an agenda item that we have where we're advertising for bids on individual items.
Yes.
The first advertisement is, site work.
Yes.
So is that something, and the road committee may be able to speak to this and our road supervisors here. Was there a discussion about our staff participating in some elements of the site work, or was the consideration because they are so busy doing other things out in the county, taking care of the roadside maintenance, that they were not going to have the availability of equipment and or personnel to do that? So who can answer that?
Yeah, I mean, I can speak on
That's
that.
just out in.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all attest to how busy our road department is,
Absolutely.
and this is kind of a specialty build here. We have discussed as far as potentially our road department taking the building down. It's kind of helping out with this project, but as far as the site work and grading and stuff like that, we're just gonna leave it up to Codell, just because I don't think, John, if you want to speak on it, you can. We were trying not to put more on their plate.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
was the second part.
Yeah.
My assumption was that basically seeing it here, but I wasn't sure because I know one of the overarching goals seems like of the road committee was to look at and walk the line between cost and efficiency and being able to move the project forward. And that's a fine line of 3 to walk for anybody. But I know our staff is capable. I don't think there was a question there. It was just the other, so.
So to expand upon that a little bit, the demo side of it. So if you'll look at that, I'm assuming you have the whole advertisement there. I don't know what you are looking at
Nope.
exactly, but
We do not.
bid package number 4 says general trades. So
Yeah,
if we decided that we did want John's team to demo that,
Mhm.
all I would have to do is in one of our addendums that go out, just take the demo out of that bid package. So we've got some time to decide,
And
what we're-
flexibility.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
As long as we get it handled before the job actually bids. In the RFPs that we send out, we can just send an addendum and clarify items and take it, reduce their scope, add to the scope, whatever we need to do.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Any other question, Mr. Davis? So just to clarify, so we're bidding today on backpack 1, which is the deal, correct? Okay. So this is the contract, this is the second part of what I guess we did on last quarter. Contract.
Just for clarification purposes, in our, book today, there's a line item that we're approving SLA to erect the buildings. But going back to the last court meeting and notice, that's the reason I thought we called it a project, because we lumped it all together in regards to the 797. I thought that's what we approved at the last court meeting, was the building package and the erection of the buildings.
It is. This 400, so it's
All to SLA. So the balance of the 400 is still within that same contract. It's just the 400 has to be addressed a little differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that we approved.
Not only the buildings, but also the construction of the buildings at the last meeting. And now we're voting today to authorize the award to SLA. It just seems like we're doing it twice.
I think the intent today, I agree, but
I think the intent of what was meant by that was to get the down payment portion approved and to show you all that the balance was due. I don't know that was, I know we talked about the down payment up front, but I don't think we talked about the balance upon delivery. So we had asked him to verify that with the vendor and give us the backup for that.
I don't know.
So it'd be that,
Sure.
that we're giving that we're awarding a bid to someone that wasn't bid out. If
Yes,
that makes sense.
right, correct.
Any other questions?
And as far as the advertisement, that's on the agenda for today for the remaining bid packages. Okay. All right. thank you all.
Thank you. Alrighty. Now we're gonna skip down to, I believe there's some people here from the jail that would like to speak. Oh, you get to come up by yourself today?
Well, wasn't out of want. Jailer Bono is away at training this week with KJA. So luckily you got me.
Yeah, good. We're glad to have you. Welcome.
So the backstory on this is a few years back under Jailer Rogers, Administrative Office of the Courts said that we had to have a video arraignment machine for the court system plugged in with the jail and the criminal courts. County had to come up with $15,000 for the purchase of that. That was under Jailer Rogers. Luckily, this time the state has decided to give grants out to pay for this now. So as soon as we get this in, the better off we're going to be, and it shouldn't have any problems with our budget. Captain Smith and Amy have already got together on that and figured out how everything's going to run smoothly. That's all. Yes, sir.
When will the money actually be spent? Like,
That part I'm not too familiar with. There you go, July. We'll get the invoice.
and any idea when we'd hear back about the grant?
No, unfortunately, I'm kind of coming in
Okay.
on the tail end of this. It was Jailer Bono's baby.
Okay.
He was handling most of the part with the KJA and the grant and everyone else.
Okay. Squire Sebastian.
for being with us today. Are there any additional matching requirements in any way that we're,
No, ma'am.
okay, all right, thank you. Do we know if there is a maintenance agreement, I guess, / schedule for this type of equipment? Because, you know, there will be certain things, since it's, even though it's video arraignment, you know, you have to download, you know, software updates, and then sometimes, I don't know if it's proprietary software, and if it is, you know, that adds another layer of, and I don't know if you've spoken with counterparts in another part of the state who've used it and can say, you know, this stuff is better than sliced bread, gosh, wish we'd had it a long time ago, easy as pie, or,
Well, considering everything in the government's the lowest bidder, highly doubt it. So when it comes to this system, we got the JAV system originally. This is a whole new company that I saw on the paperwork. We haven't been trained on it yet. We don't know very much about it. I do know that inside the packet that you were given, there was some type of maintenance upgrade agreement. Basically, they are in charge of all the software and all that. They will take care of the updates on all the computer side and everything else. As far as any kind of mechanical issues or something like that, I haven't seen anything in the grant that's going to cover for future issues, but I'm pretty sure the courts will take care of it. That's my assumption. Because it belongs to the court, basically. It's part of the court system.
question is, sometimes they will come back later on and tell you that there's like an annual maintenance fee when they have to download, you know, and update drivers or, you know, whatever it may be as part of that. But since it is all or primarily a technical type system, can you turn that mic on? Thank you. So for that reason, so I'm just asking that if we happen to know what that, if that, because a lot of times, as we all know, there are hidden costs in all of this equipment that
Yes,
we
ma'am.
get, and it's great to have the equipment. But then when you're layering on $75,000, I'm making up a number, you know, that we hadn't planned for, you know, then we're kind of scrambling around going, okay, where can we pull that to stay kind of within the current budget? You
Yes,
know all
ma'am.
this, you know all that.
There's $3,000 in the contract and some change that says for ongoing remote configuration services. So I'm assuming that's the software updates that they have periodically. But as far as, like I said, the physical aspect of machinery, I do not know.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I was looking at that as well. It said quantity 6.15, so they'll interact and reconfigure and remote services, at least 6 occurrences. So that, I think that Covered that.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah, the contract, for Cisco has an expiration date of June 1st on it. Have they extended that for us, or we already entered into an agreement?
From my understanding, we've already got in touch with the KJA who purchased additional units of this and said we were still gonna be eligible for the grant as long as we can get it in as soon as possible.
Good deal. Thank you very much.
Judge, can I have some question before we over? Did I miss tab 3? Since we jumped to tab 1. Did I miss
Oh,
that?
well, I read those together, so,
I apologize.
no, that's okay.
So can I call our attention to tab 3?
Yep.
On paragraph 5 in tab 3, the name in there should be Payola Row, ROE, instead of Payola TOE.
Yep.
It's one of those little,
Perfect. Yep.
you know what happens, that I guarantee you, the computer changed the name.
Yep.
To correct it. Yep, that crazy spell check screws everything up every time.
Did you get that, clerk?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Squire. Alrighty. Item number 6 is going to be the authorization to approve payroll increase of $500 for full-time employees in the jail and under the judge executive's office. Does anybody have any questions for Amy on this, or anybody? I think it's a great thing that we're doing for our full-time employees, and good. Seeing no questions, we'll move on. Anybody have any other follow-up questions for Wes with Codell Construction about what we're awarding today? Seeing none, we'll move on. In addition, we're going to advertise the bids for the road department. Is there any questions on the advertisements? Bar Tracy.
In regards to, like, some of them, is this for the West, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can we go get him just, sorry, I don't want you to have to ask it twice.
No, you're good.
If it's about the advertisement, it's probably gonna be directed towards Codell Construction. How's the audience doing today? Everybody good? Smiling faces, beautiful day. A little bit of rain last night, settled the dust. It's good. State Journal's doing good. Hope so.
Prices are still running.
Okay, that's good. Good. Okay. If it's okay, we'll come back to that one, okay? We stepped out, we're gonna get it back. So, let's go ahead and move on.
Amy, would you like to come forward? I believe we're on treasurer's report and payment of claims. So we'll start with treasurer's report.
Good morning. So in your packet, you have the revenue and expense report as of June 2nd. Revenues are at 30,647,000. Expenses are at 30. Did I say 30 million? I meant to. Okay. 30,648,000. So our expenses are higher than our revenues at this point. I think that is going to be fine at year end because we still have the bond that is scheduled to close before the end of the year. And as you know, we've already had some expenses towards the road project. So I think we'll be fine.
Bar Sebastian.
Do we anticipate any additional, whether it's sizable or not, additional revenue? I mean, it could be things like delinquent property taxes. It kind of, I don't really have a finger on the pulse in that last couple of weeks, what we may see kind of dribble in.
Nothing major.
Yeah,
I did go through this morning to look at June of the last year, since this is my first June, to see what to expect. So we just have, the bulk of our revenue is already hit.
At some point saw anything. in the past history. Usually ask that question to the treasurer. Just be prepared for it. Thank you.
Any other questions on the treasurer's report?
I got one question about the tangible property. It's off $132,000. Is there any, I think her question was, is there any possibility of any of that coming in later?
We will have one more payment towards that.
Okay, you think it'll be the 130,000?
I doubt it.
Okay,
I think we'll fall short on that one on it.
thank you.
Any other questions? See no questions, we're going to move on to payment of claims. Go ahead, Squire.
I had a question in regard to the jail fund bill. And that's only one page. And the account is 035101-343 medical services. Don't know if there's anyone who can calculate this for us, but I think it would be enlightening for the court for somebody to calculate the overage cost pool for this fiscal year and then get that back to the court, so we would have kind of a baseline of information to look toward next year when that medical cost pool overruns, because it seems like it's trending consistently to overrunning. So as we have that information, it will help us when we renegotiate the contract. I would think someone else can dissuade me from that.
I'm with you on that one, makes sense. But Kim, is that something that you could look at for us?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for payment of claims? Seeing nothing, I'm gonna invite Mr. Robert Hewitt to come forward. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yep, Wes is back here. Sorry, let's jump back to.
Computer, but she sent me the contract. I sent it on to Jack, so we have the executed copy here.
Okay, no, well, I think we're okay on the contract right
Okay.
now, Wes. We're talking about the advertising on the bids.
Okay,
And Squire Tracy had a question, and before he started, I cut him off because it's probably gonna be
sure.
to you.
It's pretty simple, like, when this goes out, will it be more of a detailed, information in regards, like, me looking at this, I see masonry and flooring.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking flooring's gonna be concrete, so.
No, it'll be, so each bid package will have specifications that they're tied to for the project as well as special notes, like flooring, for instance, in here will be your finished flooring, not concrete. So each bid package will have a full breakdown of items that they're responsible for bidding. Like we did for bid package 1, they had one package that showed what their scope of work was, basically. And I'll be happy as soon as we get them done to share each bid package before they go out. Yeah. Sure.
Any other questions? Wes, thank you.
Thank you all.
Here comes Mr. Hewitt. Robert, you're up. Morning. How you doing today?
Good morning. I'm well. How's the court this morning? So this item on your agenda is a request for a zone map amendment for property located at 209 Devil's Hollow Road from rural residential RB district to industrial commercial district. Second reading.
Any discussion? Not really, I guess, questions or anything we want to discuss on this item? The county attorney, jump in if something's going sideways here. I purposely said no questions, you know? Any discussion item? I believe this is the one that staff denied and planning commission approved. Squire
I
Blackburn.
just want to ask one question to the county attorney.
Here we go.
What are the options that we have before us? I know we always state this, so I just want to do it again.
Here we go.
And we'll try to make this as simple as possible, okay? There was a record created in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Your all's options are to accept the recommendations of the Planning Commission based upon that record. 1, to take
to take the proof that was presented at the planning commission and make your own findings. 2, or to have your own hearing in which you develop your own record and make your own findings. 3. So basically, the first 2, you take the record that's already been presented to the planning commission, you either accept or you change the findings and make your own determination, or 3, you make a whole new record and make a hearing. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, can't we just vote it up or down? Is that an option still? Yeah. Just want to make sure. Any other discussions on this one?
Clarification, I suppose, let me ask.
Well, yeah, let's just.
There just is a discrepancy in the staff report, and I'm wanting to ask the planning director to verify something for us. If we can.
County attorney? No.
If you have to take as it was presented to the planning commission. So if you're asking him to do something that was not presented at the planning commission, we cannot do that, as that will wind us up back in court again, and that's not what we need.
For the record, we didn't do that. It was some happened prior to us.
It's exactly what is presented in the records, but there's a discrepancy in the.
Whatever's in the record is in the record. So if you're wanting to go and change the record or clarify the record, that would be a change to the record. So whatever's in the record is in there. Whatever the transcript says is there is there. So if you're wanting to, for a clarification, that would add upon that record. So that's what we can't do. Unless you want to have your own hearing.
Procedure question, I believe. We've had the first reading on this. You do not have to have a second reading immediately. So this could be delayed or tabled. Is that correct?
The fiscal court has 90 days from the date in which the planning commission sends it to the fiscal court in which to take action.
90 days.
90 days. I believe April the 13th was the date of the hearing, so some action would have to be taken before that 90 days.
You say May 13th?
April. July 13th, is that right?
Give
Give it a few days.
Yeah.
So July 13th is the deadline?
Well, around there, within a week or so, yeah. I think we'll have another fiscal court meeting prior to that 90 days. We'll have 2 more court meetings before the 90 days is up. So if everybody has some more questions on it and we feel more comfortable tabling it, I'm fine with that. So Ed, no, yes, no.
I don't have any questions.
Fine with table. Does everybody, Squire Tanner, Squire Wisman, do y'all want a little bit more time to mull this one over?
We're still entertaining the record as it is. I'm honestly okay voting it up or down. But if there's a desire to do it, I feel there's a discrepancy that needs to be defined that we don't really have any way of saying we can do that, but.
Squire Tanner?
I'm fine with tabling it for delaying it, whatever the word might be, but I don't, as long as we fall within that 90 days, but I think I'd rather have a few more days to.
Is that okay with everybody?
With it, I guess.
Can we just go ahead and put it on the next meeting? Is that okay? We'll put it on the next, so for 2 weeks, we'll hear that? Okay. Robert, you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When we get to voting session, yeah. Yep, perfect. All righty, Robert, next.
The next item is a request for a zone map amendment of 56 acres of property located at 2486 Cedar Road from rural residential RR to agricultural district AG.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna say questions for Robert. We'll keep on the straight and narrow here. Is there any discussion items on this one? I believe this is the proposed event center out Cedar Road. Any discussion items for the court? Squire Tracy. It's never good when you're smiling before you raise your hand. Here we go. Yeah, I knew it wasn't gonna be good.
This is really simple. Per the official record, would it be accurate to say there was no one in opposition or spoke in opposition per the official record?
I believe the record can speak for itself.
Just want to make sure everybody, that's watching.
I believe the record just needs to speak for itself and nobody to speak on behalf of the record.
Just thought I'd ask.
That's the dance. The dance.
Any other discussion items on this one? So we're okay to go ahead and keep this one on the voting session. All righty, Robert, next, please.
Let's see, what do I have next?
You have the recovery facility?
Oh, the text amendment. Okay. Yes, so this text amendment to the residential recovery facility portion of the zoning ordinance, section 155, was initiated by the fiscal court. The desire at the time staff was given direction was to remove RB as a possibility as a conditional use. That's the medium density single family zoning designation, and then to add to its definition. So this was forwarded by staff from the fiscal court to the planning commission. Public hearing was held, and the record's before you today.
Any discussion from the fiscal court on this agenda item? We good? For Blackburn, did you have something, or are you good?
This was based on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yep, sounds good. Robert, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All righty, so now I'm gonna ask Mr. John Mitchell. There you go. He's just anxious to get back on that podium. He was right up there.
We did get the bids in. This is for our construction materials, basically rock, concrete, blacktop and pipe. We do this every year. Most stuff went up, of course. I mean, we're looking at like rock was, average $1.50 up. Hot mix asphalt, like $4 and change from last year. Concrete was a biggie. It's $19 more. Yes. A lot. And our pipe and all that stuff was the same. It didn't change.
That's surprising. The pipe would have gone up.
No, it stayed about the same. So, yeah, the biggest thing was the concrete. It went way up.
Questions for Mr. John Mitchell on all this pricing that we have in front of us? Seeing no questions, we're gonna keep moving. John, thank you. All right, so now we are going to we have a motion to go into closed session to talk about Mike's Squire Tanner.
Question.
Buddy, sure can. Go ahead.
Who's
question for?
Anybody.
Okay.
Anybody can answer. The follow up on JW's question about it being referred to by the court for this change, was that the last court?
Yes.
So there's three of us that wasn't here before.
Right.
Thank you.
I think to clarify, what this does is narrows am I saying that right? It narrows the zoning in which these types of facilities can go. It excludes one of the zoning designations. It doesn't broaden it. It makes it more restrictive. And I think
I
that was the
think I
will of
understand-
the.
I think I understand what he does, I just, because I wasn't here when you all discussed it and asked him to change it. So I didn't get any of of those comments, except I saw what was in this packet today, we're gonna change it. And, you're changing a lot, not just mental health facilities, but recovery facilities, a lot of other things, and, I may have to have time to think about that.
Sure.
But that's me, just me.
I totally understand.
I don't think if I can ask this or not, that's what I'm treading on water here. JW, I'm gonna point it towards you, I guess. I believe other people worked on this with our staff as far as and agreed upon it. Is that correct?
Yes.
So,
And I think that the petitioner's attorney,
yeah.
they weren't overjoyed with it, but they were accepting of it.
Yeah. If that helps you at all, Squire. I do know that this isn't just the previous court saying, this is what we're doing. There was input from the petitioner, and the petitioner's attorney and our staff worked to get to this point.
I'm sure there was, and I'm sure there's sound reason for doing that, but I have one more question probably for Robert.
Let's be careful here.
This
is ordinance change over, right? This is definition change, right? Which doesn't have any.
It's a definition, that's true.
Okay.
So that, it doesn't have anything to do with.
This county attorney jump in if something goes sideways.
Yeah, I was just.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Oh, this is a state, it went through the planning and zoning too? Okay.
That's what I was getting at, Squire. That's what I was just treading lightly. Yeah, that's what I was. Squire Blackburn.
Whether it's allowable or not. So maybe I should ask it later.
Maybe I can help clarify, maybe not, but it came before us, the former body, and there were specified zoning designations in which this would affect. And then, as we came through the process of the first reading and that, we, as a former body, made a decision to be a little more restrictive on one of the zoning designations. For that to occur, it had to go back to the planning commission for them to look at it and consider it. And both sides of the argument were represented with that. And then they sent it back to us. I think that's what we're at. But I totally get that it's a lot and you gotta get up to speed on it. But that's what the former body had discussed and work hand in hand with the planning commission and the petition.
Thank you, Squire. Squire Tanner, any other thoughts? You still thinking over there, I can tell.
Well, I have I get confused about the rules, not necessarily what questions I got.
How about if you ask a question and.
Okay, we can do, if he can't answer, don't answer it. How's that? How's that?
He's not
If
gonna
I
answer
ask the
that.
question and he can't answer, don't answer it.
And maybe one of us that was on the previous court might be able to answer.
All right, if somebody, place, person, whatever, come in and wanted to put in one of these, this ban now, can they not get a conditional use permit from B and Z or whatever?
That's kind of a general question, isn't it?
So your question is, if somebody came in now, they requested permission to get one of these facilities, regulated, this, I'm trying to figure out what your question is here.
Well, they issue that, I think they issue conditional use permits all the time for certain things. I mean, like a garage or too close to the road or whatever. Those are conditional use permits and they only stick with this whoever you give it to. They're not transferable. Anytime I'm wrong, you tell me I'm wrong. Am I right so far?
You are correct.
Yes, you're on.
So then does this ban that from happening?
And that,
I don't believe so. I think that could still, so you're saying, just if I can get you right, so if somebody is wanting to build something in a zoning that's not designated for it, can they apply for a conditional use permit?
That is the question. I didn't say it'd be granted.
I believe that, I think that is still possible. Anybody else? As far as Tracy.
that's not accurate because we're basically taking that zone out of it, so it would not be an option for RB.
Right.
So there are several zones that would not.
But I think his
that
question
conditional
is,
use would not fall.
could, let's say the applicant goes against the grain and just has a convincing attorney that says, this could happen. There is a potential that it could be granted. It's not out of the question.
They would have to request a zone change to another zoning use
Yeah.
to
Not just
be,
conditional use.
that is already
Okay.
approved within the scope of what conditional uses are for that use.
Yep. Does that help, Squire Tanner?
Yes,
Okay, I'm just trying to talk it through.
it helps me be more confused.
I got you, man. The official record.
Robert, thank you.
Thank you. I'm
You need to sit
here
down before we
to
get in
answer
trouble.
more questions.
Yeah, you just stand. All righty. Is everybody good to move on? Do I have a motion to go into closed session? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Authorization to go into closed session per KRS 61.810(1)(f), discussions or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. We're in closed session. session. Then go to other business. Does anybody have any other business to discuss? I want the paper to miss it.
Oh, yeah.
We went other business, so there's no other business, so we're going to go into the voting session. Clerk, please call the roll.
Squire Sebastian,
Here.
Squire Dykus,
Here.
Squire Blackburn,
Present.
Squire Tracy,
Here.
Squire Tanner,
Here.
Squire Listener,
Present.
Judge Miller,
Present. All right. Authorization for approval of minutes from regular meeting of May 25, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization for approval of minutes from special meeting of May 31, 2023, with the correction that Squire Sebastian made earlier, clerk.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to adopt a resolution of the Franklin County Fiscal Court authorizing the filing of a Kentucky House Bill HB1 Jail Arraignment Equipment Grant Application.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve the Franklin County, this has been tabled. Yeah, apologize. Authorization to approve a payroll increase of $500 for full-time employees in the jail and under direct supervision of the county judge executive in the following departments: county judge's staff, county attorney, coroner's office, human resources, planning and zoning, maintenance, IT, dog warden, treasurer, occupational tax, friend of the court, crime victims advocate, community development, solid waste, park golf, road and fire. Fee offices will be at the discretion of the clerk and sheriff.
Move to approve, Judge.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to award a contract to SLA Enterprises LLC for road department building erection of 2 buildings at the Franklin County Road Department, 100 Lewis Ferry Road.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to re-advertise bids for the road department redevelopment project.
No,
Judge, just advertise, not re-advertise.
Oh, I'm sorry, to advertise, I apologize.
So,
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to receive treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Claims, is there a motion to deny any payment of claims? Seeing none, let the record reflect all claims are to be paid.
Judge, I'll move to table the second reading of the ordinance for PBA map number 049000020.00 until our next meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of tabling, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion is tabled to our next court meeting. Second reading and approval of an ordinance amending the table of special ordinances, section 1, zoning map changes of the Franklin County Code of Ordinances for a 56-acre property identified as PVA map number 098-00-00-0.20.00 located at 2486 Cedar Road from Rural Residential District RR to Agriculture District AG.
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Second reading and approval of an ordinance amending the Franklin County Code of Ordinances, section 155.010 definitions and 155.085 table of permitted uses relating to a residential recovery facility to remove the land use of residential recovery facility as a conditional use in the rural residential B zoning district RB and add language to the definition.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
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 Let the record reflect, motion passes. Authorization to award bids for various sizes of aggregates to the lowest bidder, Harry Concrete and Stone.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Judge, I have to abstain.
Let the record reflect. Squire Sebastian abstains. Motion passes. Authorization to award bid for Class I.
Bituminous.
Bituminous, that's a big one for me. Surface to the sole bidder, HG Mays Corporation.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to award bid for Class A concrete to the sole bidder, Air Concrete and Stone.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes.
I have to abstain, Judge.
Okay, let the record reflect. Squire Sebastian abstains. Motion passes. Authorization to award bid for N-12 polyurethane pipe and fitting to sole bidder, Hayes Pipe and Supply.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to reappoint our county treasurer, Amy Quatman, for a 4-year term.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.